Why does it seem like you spend most of your time in bed, barely moving, doing absolutely nothing lately? Are you someone who gets exhausted by the simplest tasks and can't find the energy to do anything? Do you keep telling yourself it's just laziness and nothing more? Here's the unsettling truth. There's actually a terrifying overlap between laziness and burnout that makes it almost impossible to tell them apart. Burnout is a devastating state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by relentless stress and your inability to cope with it. And here's the shocking part. As of 2019, a survey revealed that approximately 75% of adults in the United States alone have experienced symptoms of burnout, with over 40% of cases being severe enough to disrupt their entire lives. Now, more than ever, it's become critical to understand what burnout really is. So with that said, here are 6 telltale signs that what you're experiencing right now isn't laziness, it's burnout. Number 1, you feel disconnected from everything. Are you going through each day like a ghost on autopilot? Is there a haunting feeling of being detached from your own self, as if you're watching your life from behind a glass wall? If you're suffering from burnout, one of the most disturbing things you might be experiencing without even realizing it is depersonalization. People experiencing depersonalization, most commonly those struggling with trauma, report a strange, almost eerie sense of emotional numbness or emptiness, as if they were watching life from outside their own body. They don't feel like themselves anymore. Nothing excites them, nothing moves them, and they constantly struggle with an overwhelming sense of helplessness, unable to take back control of their lives. Number 2, you used to be motivated. Here's the key difference. Laziness is a character trait, and character traits stay stable over time. A lazy person simply doesn't feel like putting in effort, and they've always been that way. But what if you used to be driven? What if you used to be the high achiever who excelled in everything you touched? And only recently, seemingly out of nowhere, you became exhausted, apathetic, and unmotivated. Then you're not lazy, you're burnt out. And that's a completely different beast. Number 3, you used to be passionate. A clear, almost painful difference between someone who's burnt out and someone who's lazy is this. The burnt out person used to have things they were deeply passionate about, but now they can barely stand to look at them. Whether it's a talent you once cherished, a sport you lived for, or your career that used to excite you, burnout makes it nearly impossible to do the things you once loved. You might even come to hate or resent those things because of how much you overworked yourself, pushed yourself past your limits, and sacrificed everything for them. And that hurts. Number 4, you've become moody and irritable. Do you suddenly find yourself snapping at people for no reason? Do you feel like your emotions are spiraling out of control and you have no idea why? Moodiness and irritability are common but dangerously overlooked signs of burnout. So if you're struggling to control your emotions, especially when it was never a problem before, this might be exactly why lazy people, on the other hand, are often relaxed, laid back, and unaffected by stress. They don't snap, they don't spiral, they just exist. Number 5, you've neglected your self-care. One of the most distressing, heartbreaking warning signs that someone is emotionally and physically burnt out is when they start neglecting their own self-care and withdraw from everyone around them. You notice concerning changes in eating or sleeping patterns. You stop putting effort into how you look. You spend most of your time alone, doing nothing, because even the simplest task, like taking a shower, feels impossibly exhausting. The critical difference between burnout and laziness? You weren't always this way. This version of you is new, and it's terrifying. Number 6, these changes happened gradually. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, burnout doesn't happen overnight. All those symptoms mentioned before, losing interest in what you loved, feeling detached from yourself, withdrawing socially, neglecting self-care, they don't just appear one day. Studies show there are actually 5 major stages of burnout, each with increasing severity. 1, the honeymoon phase, everything feels fine. 2, the onset of stress optimism starts fading. 3, chronic stress performance declines noticeably. 4, burnout, you're barely functioning. 5, habitual burnout. It becomes your new normal. Many people start experiencing symptoms as early as the 2nd phase, and by the time you reach the 5th stage, burnout has become so embedded in your life that the persistent mental and physical fatigue becomes harder to treat, making you far more vulnerable to developing depression and anxiety. Spotting the signs of burnout early makes it exponentially easier to recover. That's why it's so critical to raise awareness about burnout instead of dismissing it as laziness, like most people do. So if you or anyone you know may be suffering from burnout, please don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional today. You're not lazy, you're not weak, you're burnt out, and that's okay to admit. Have you experienced burnout? Share your story in the comments. Like, if this resonated with you, save this, you might need it later. Follow for more mental health insights.